So, good evening, everybody. Welcome to tonight's May 20th, 2026 Palisades School District Board of Directors meeting. If we could all stand and salute our flag.
I think I put a lot of
It's okay, Rich. The sentiment is there.
Right.
I pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Sue, to call the roll.
Director Beer,
Here.
Mr. Freeman,
Here.
Oh, no, I didn't. Oh, I'm sorry. I already messed up in front of it. Okay, because Dean is not here, we have to. Okay, change of plans. In accordance with the requirements of section 405 of the Pennsylvania Public School Code, I'm going to hear about this tonight. A motion is in order to elect a secretary pro tem to serve at our May 20th, 2026 school board meeting and to fulfill all secretarial duties corresponding to matters adopted at the aforementioned Palisades School Board meeting. I need a motion.
I'll make a motion.
Thank you. To have a second.
I'll second it.
Thank you. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? My motion carries 9-0. I think we were supposed to nominate you, Sue, but I suppose you did not. All right. Sue will be acting as our secretary tonight. And in that capacity, may you call the roll?
Director Beer? Here. Director Freeman?
Here.
Director Hollowell?
I'm here.
Director Landis? Here. Director Levon?
Here.
Director Nielsen? Here. Director Ott?
Here.
Director Ramos?
Here.
Director Wenhold?
Here.
Superintendent Dr. Bridget O'Connell? Here.
Thank you so much. Moving on to lots and lots of recognitions tonight. These are our favorite kind of board meetings. So Dr. O'Connell, since we have so many, why don't I turn it over to you to get started?
Thank you so much. We're going to start with Mr. Rich Heffernan to recognize our robust technical senior state finalists, medal winners, and skills best winners. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. O'Connell. Tonight we want to recognize our Skills USA first place winners that are seniors, because at our next board meeting, they will be alumni. So we wanted to get them here before they graduated and went on to great things with all the skills they not only acquired at the tech school, but with those fundamental critical skills here at the high school. So here I have with me this evening are two of our first place winners that are seniors from the technical school. I'd first like to recognize Zach Newwild. Zach, could you raise your hand? Zach placed first in the district championship in related technical math. So let's do a big round of applause for Zach. The next gentleman I want to introduce is Logan Stowell. Logan placed first in the diesel equipment technologies. Let's give Logan a big round of applause. Earlier this year, we recognized a number of our students from Palisades High School that were recognized as Students of the Month at the technical school. That involves obviously Quakertown, Penridge, and Palisades. We did this in January. Logan received the recognition that evening, but he was unable to make it because he was working. Tonight, I was actually shocked to find Mr. Heffel be here, so I want to give a big shout out to Logan for also being recognized as the September Student of the Month in the technical school. So big round of applause. We have two other students that received first place at the district level, Colton Meyer in welding fabrication. So Colton's not with us this evening, but let's give him a big round of applause as well. And Hannah Gibson. Hannah received first place in automated manufacturing. So we'll pass along our regards to Hannah as well. Let's give her a big round of applause. As we talk about recognition at the district level, students then go on to compete at the state level. I want to also tell everybody here this evening that Hannah Gibson and her team won first place at the state level in automated manufacturing team competition. So we will send her our big applause and congratulations for her. So the next time you'll see these guys, they'll be Palisades alumni, Palisades alumni. So congratulations, gentlemen. I'll walk you back.
Richard, congratulations. Yep. And congratulations, Logan and Zach. Thanks so much for coming, and we can't wait to see you at graduation.
All right, next, Dr. Michael Donnelly is going to celebrate our students that are the 2026 Seal of Biliteracy recipients.
Thank you, Dr. So if Madam Nine come forward. This evening, Madam Nine is going to share with you a really exciting figure about what occurred this year with our students at the high school. But before I turn it over to her about our students, that would not be possible without really amazing teachers. And we just received word a few weeks ago that our World Language Department for Palisades School District received the Golden Globe Award from the Pennsylvania Modern Language Association. And we are only one of 10 high schools in the state to have received that recognition. So congratulations.
So this is our second year of awarding the Pennsylvania Seal of Biliteracy here at Palisades. Only 39 other districts in all of Pennsylvania awarded the seal as of 2024. Last year, our first year, we had 5 seniors who successfully were awarded the seal of biliteracy, and this year we have grown to 15 seniors being recognized. These students we recognize both tonight as well as the graduation, and will have a special designation applied to their diploma. It is our distinct pleasure to be able to recognize these 15 outstanding seniors in achieving intermediate high proficiency levels of English and 1 other language. It is a recognition of their academic efforts to see the tangible benefits of being bilingual and biliterate, and of being prepared for the 21st century. So as I call you, come on up. For Spanish and English, Stacey Fleck, Uriel Elijah Gutierrez, Alexia Lopez, Alexander Ludwig. Come on up here. Matthew McNally, Riley Steinmetz, Sanchez, and Lila Steinmetz. And for French, Raven Rutherford, we're so proud of all of our students, and these are some examples of our outstanding French and Spanish students this year. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. Yes, you get your medals. I want to figure out what you're wearing. They were all the way out earlier. I make it no secret. I think I say this, I've said this in the past several times, but I grew up in a bilingual household, so this is near and dear to my heart because biliteracy was not celebrated when I was a child, and I was quite embarrassed about the whole thing. So it's so beautiful to see it celebrated in this way. Especially in these times where I don't think language instruction outside of English is really happening right now. It's not necessarily the popular choice. So I hope to all of you that this plays dividends long after your high school years, that you will all travel and go all far and wide and use your language skills in many ways. So congratulations to all of you. We really celebrate your accomplishments.
Thank you. So we've celebrated the trades and language, and next we're going to celebrate our musicians in our district. So thank you, Dr. Rana.
Sure. So as we know, music is just like another language, and it's so important to instill within our students. And this evening, Mr. Westenberger and Ms. Comfort here to provide certificates and a little background information about the various students that can come forward that participated in a variety of festivals this year. And the idea about the reason why they're recognized is because you had to earn that opportunity to attend that festival. So this evening, we'll be recognizing students who represented Palisades at the Bucks County Music Educators Association Festival, the Pennsylvania Music Educator Association District 11 and 6 Band Festival, the Pennsylvania Music Educator Association District 11 String Fest, Song Fest, and Band Fest. So with all the fests, take it away.
Good evening. The music department had a very busy spring with all of our honors ensembles. We had about 40 students from elementary through high school participate, which is, I believe, the most we've ever participate in any of these events. So it's very amazing to see. So we're going to start with our BCMEA students. These are middle and high school students who auditioned amongst all of the top students across the county and earned spots in their respective ensembles, and it's a very competitive ensemble to get into. So when you hear your name, please come up and be recognized.
All right, here we go. Big long chat. Start just for our kids right here. We're starting with choir. Middle school choir, Olivia Bowen, Wyatt Clapp. High school choir, Nathan Clapp, Luis Picacio, Alaria Lamont, Michael Hopkins, Luke Rubo, Nathan Shermer, Alex Stewart. Middle school orchestra, Caroline Page. High school orchestra, Willie Clifford. High school band, Olivia Mellis, Mandy Reese, and Gianna Sa. And also, since we're doing this whole group here, I also have the one for Gianna Nastasi for PMEA District 11 and Region 6. Gianna's the first Palisades High School student to ever advance to the Region 6 Band Festival. It's the best new additions to 5 rounds. Since I'm the band guy, I'll keep rolling here with the band names. The next one up is the PMEA District 11 Band Fest. This is 5th and 6th grade students. We have Rayanne O'Donnell, Sammy Dackness, Hank Slaughter, Leah Means, and Katie Page.
Then we are also going to recognize our Songfest students. So these are 7th and 8th grade students who are director selected and participated in the Songfest. So that is Jacob Roney, Maddie Pitts, Caroline Page, sorry, there's too many students. Grace Crook, Nino Davila, Anna Miller, Pepper Myers, Caroline Page, Jolene Barony, and Anna Chilton. And then last is our String Fest. This was a double fest, so it's both elementary 5th and 6th grade and middle school 7th and 8th grade. And those students are Benjamin Cantwell, Benjamin Williams, Sammy Dackness, Kenny Sheets, Joseph Cantwell, Acadia DeVito, Evangeline Fain, Rose Frank, Cale Harbaugh, Earl Kenson, Caroline Page, Nora Radis, and Josephine Williams. So once again, thank you. Congratulations to all of the students for participating in these high-level music ensembles. You guys, we're so proud of you. And yes, great job.
Congratulations, everyone. And for our youngest musicians, look at how many high schoolers are still on it. You have an opportunity here to learn and grow, and I hope to see you in 5, 6, 7 years doing your thing at the high school level. So congratulations to everybody. And I think we would, as a board, be remiss not to thank our music department and our foreign language department, or world language department, who not only cared for these programs and made sure that the fire didn't die out, but grew them significantly. We saw that with the medals growing from last year to this year. Our band program, our instrumental programs, although our students are getting, our classes are getting smaller and smaller, the interest in these programs are growing and growing. And that's because of the teachers and the administration who are curating those programs and see them grow. So we thank you. And of course, the parents who show up at 7 a.m. to bring your kids to these practices. We've all been there. So thank you so much, and congratulations to all students. So we're moving from celebrating our students, celebrating outstanding educators, and for that presentation, I'd ask Marie Collin to come on down. Thank you. So I'm thrilled to be here. I know that the last time we were together, there were some folks recognized by a special award, Lehigh University educators with real impact. And this is something that went out. Anyone really in the district, our families, colleagues, had the opportunity to share positive news about folks in our district. So we do have a variety of parents who have provided recognitions as well as colleagues, and I'd like to invite the following people if they're here, down here to the front. Emily Blake, special education teacher. Danny Nichols, art teacher, co-chair. Maggie Creighton, first grade teacher. Amanda Ball, kindergarten teacher. Natalie Williams, elementary counselor. Renee McKinnon, paraprofessional. Kindergarten teacher. And elementary principal Amber Schlosser, I'm going to pass over to Dr. Donnelly, but I do want to read since Emily's here. The good news that was shared in her nomination. This is her first year with us here in Palisade, and what was shared was over the past couple of years, we have had several learning support teachers leave. Emily is the youngest one we have had, and the students love her. She has a very calm way of teaching, and I have seen firsthand the leaps and bounds our students have made since her arrival, and that was shared by Judy Simon. So again, we want to congratulate her and thank her for the awesome work she's done here with us at Palisades.
One thing that's happening, congratulations to all of the teachers. I know Mrs. Schlosser cannot be here this evening, but as a first year elementary principal, we wanted to take this time to read her recognition aloud. And Mrs. Schlosser was nominated by Nicole Hall, who is both a current parent as well as an alumna of Palisades School District. And she said the following things about Amber. I met Amber as my high school English teacher when she started her career at Palisades. As a teacher, her dedication to who I was as a student and as a person has stayed with me long after graduation. She's now the principal for my daughter's school, and all these years later, she remains one of the most genuine, caring, and devoted educators in our district. She sees the strengths of each child and is intentional to let every student know that she cares for them and that she believes in them. She fosters a trusting community where parents feel heard and valued. We are lucky to have her in our world. You are amazing, and we are grateful for all that you do for our students and our community every day. So congratulations to Anderson Plus.
Thank you, Michael. Thank you, Marie. Congratulations for all the teachers that got recognized. Emily, we're so glad to have you. We say it often, but probably not often enough, that our teachers have a choice of where to teach, and we're so happy that you chose us. So, to a long and wonderful career here at Palisades, thank you. Just a second, we're going to move on to committee reports, and just so students know it's fine to leave. This is the boring part of the meeting. You're welcome to stay. Okay. All right, so moving on to committee reports tonight. Dr. O'Connell, what's your committee?
Thank you. So I'm delighted to see all 4 of our student representatives here with us tonight, but 2 of them are seniors. This is their last board meeting with us. So I just wanted to give you a little update as to what they'll be doing next year. So we'll be heading to Lexington Community College and then transferring to Westchester University, where she will study elementary education and plans to become a teacher. So excited to hear that. Pennsylvania needs teacher technical. Congratulations. Thank you. Jane Saba. Jane will be attending Harvard College after graduating to study mechanical engineering. She will participate in the Naval R&D program and will graduate as an officer in the U.S. Navy. She plans to become a nuclear and submariner. So thank you for your service of coming to this country, and thank you so much for the time and your colleagues on this work. Thank you all. Thank you. So this is a really busy time of year. I feel like we always say that, but May in particular is a busy time of year. Last Friday, we had an opportunity to celebrate and dedicate the fitness center to David Edwards, after Edwards, a coach, a teacher, a board member, an impactful community member. So last Friday at about 4 o'clock, we probably had about 75 former community members, former students, former athletes, to help us cut the ribbon for the Everwest Sports Performance Center. There were so many people involved in making this happen. So I do want to thank all of those folks, PCF for supporting it. Al, thank you to your maintenance crew and for making that vision that Mike had come to life, and it's fantastic. So anybody who hasn't had the opportunity to check out the fitness center, please find time to do that. There's a display case with some memorabilia from Ed's life, and it was just fantastic. So can't say enough about it. The following morning, PCF hosted their 5K and family fun. Well, it was a 5K and family fun walk on Saturday, May 16th. Great event for the community to get out, exercise, and support your work. And thank you for the work that you do in supporting our schools. So thank you. It was a little bit sore after the run. Got out there. And then following that event, Saturday also was at Clinical Park, the American 250 event. So I do want to thank Dr. Donnelly for all the work that he's done in coordinating, bringing our singers, our musicians to that event. If you did have an opportunity to be there, there were patriotic songs, there were musket firings. I learned all sorts of stuff, which I didn't know before. So really amazing time for the community as well. And graduation is next Friday. So there you have it. You need to get there. And that concludes my report.
Thank you so much. So before we move on to our student representatives reports, why doesn't the board take a minute to thank our student reps? So to Jane and Lucy, congratulations on behalf of all of us. We won't have words to say. You know, I won't spare my comments for the next few speeches, but we are so proud of both of you. Incredible results. And to Jody and Felicity, we hope to see you back next year. We wish you a wonderful summer. And we look forward to quite an adventure next year as we move into your senior year. But thank you very much. And now we'll let you get done your student reports. So you can, I think the last day of school for the seniors was today, so you guys are really done.
Okay, so to start off with our high school, our cybersonics team just traveled to Worlds this year in Texas and competed competitively. We would like to thank our mentors, Carlos and Denise Reckner and Blaine Wright, for this amazing opportunity for all of them. Our track and field team was very successful at weeks and districts, with many athletes medaling, and our boys provide one setting a new school record. They look forward to states this Friday and Saturday. The past 2 weeks have been full of testing. Now we are officially done with both AP testing and Keystone testing. Seniors have their finals tomorrow, and underclassmen will have theirs in the coming weeks. Congrats to all the students who have completed these exams.
Our high school just had their prom last Friday with an Enchanted Forest theme. Thank you so much to the juniors, student government for their hard work and dedication to making prom a great success. It was a really amazing night. High school, we're hosting the Many Voices One Journey exhibition between 6:30 and 7 on June 3rd. This was made possible by the Palisades Community Foundation and showcases ceramic art, poetry, and print work created by high school students. The exhibition is Homer's ancient Greek poem, The Odyssey. Board and community members are warmly invited.
And then at our middle school, the middle school track club had an exciting field trip at a wildlife sanctuary in Houston. The 8th grade class will be going to DC this Friday for their class trip. And the middle schoolers are officially done with all their testing, with finishing up Keystone and the map testing that last week. They also have a fun-filled field day to celebrate the end of the year with a little bit of friendly competition.
And then finally, at our elementary schools this past Monday, all students in grade 4 and 5 participated in the elementary track meet. It was really great to see students from all 3 elementary schools come together for such a positive and exciting event filled with teamwork, sportsmanship, and school spirit. The schools would like to give a special thank you to Ms. Chilton, Mr. Blocker, and our parent volunteers for their hard work and support in making this event such a success for our students. I fondly remember doing this event myself. It's just like a really great opportunity for students from like all 3 schools to come together and support it. And then, similar note, the 5K 1 mile, as Mr. O'Connell mentioned, occurred last Saturday at Springfield, brought back the Golden Shoe Award for our favorite school with the most participants. They also took first place in the Working Great track meet on Monday. And finally, last Thursday evening was the elementary spring concert. It was a really great way for all the students to showcase all that they have done here. So, thank you.
Thank you all. Have a wonderful, wonderful summer. Enjoy every minute of it. Wish you were a senior this summer. Oh, that was a good summer. Okay. All right, moving on then to Dr. Ott and our extracurricular committee reports.
The extracurricular committee will meet next Wednesday at 6:30.
Okay, moving on to education programs and services from Dr. Buren.
The EPS committee met on May 13th. We reviewed several initiatives, some of which are on the agenda tonight, and others will be on the agenda for the first meeting in June. First, we received an update on the Palms Middle School science curriculum. After doing some work to align with the new science standards, the department's recommending adoption of the TWIG program, along with supporting tools called ISL and RISC. This proposed 3-year investment will be approximately $106,000, and support this recommendation. And again, this is one of the items that will be on the meeting agenda in June. We also discussed the K-8 school counseling supports. The district is proposing a shift from a long-standing program called Second Step to one called Character Strong, which will be a pilot for the 26-27 school year. And then one of our longest conversations was on the pre-K counts contract and addendum, and I know we'll talk a little bit more about these as the items come up. There are two items on tonight's agenda. One is the contract with Lifespan, and it's the same as last year. The second item is an addendum that would allow for a limited number of tuition-paying community spots, up to 5 seats, with an overall enrollment that will not exceed 20 students. So we had a lot of discussion about this, opportunities, concerns, family demand, limited early childhood options in the community, class size considerations, long-term sustainability. Should we be doing this? So given the complexity of this issue, the committee did not make a recommendation because actually it was just Cora and I. And so we're bringing this to the board as the addendum to discuss for further review, and then whether we vote on it or vote against it. So that'll be coming up. So I wanted to give you a little bit of background on that. And then finally, the committee also reviewed a dual enrollment articulation agreement with Commonwealth University of Pennsylvania. I believe this will be recommended for board approval on June as well. We often don't have a meeting in June, but we're going to this year because Dr. Donnelly and team are going to share end of year achievement data. We're also going to hear an update on how the implementation of the cell phone policy went this year. And I haven't shared this with Dr. Donnelly yet, but I'm also going to request another update on where we've landed with the middle school schedule, and in particular, what is happening with the ELA gifted program, because I know we've heard a lot about that. So more to come. Thank you.
Okay, thank you so much. Moving on to Director Friedman for our buildings and grounds.
Our next meeting will be next Wednesday, the 27th at 7 p.m. in all level.
Nice and easy. Okay, Director Ramos, I suspect our fiscal oversight will not be quite so easy.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Our fiscal report meeting was held this past Monday at 9 a.m. First item that we spoke about was a discussion on delinquent real estate tax collection. We had Representative Mr. Kevin Brock on Portland Law. The presentation included information on the differences between the Bucks County Tax Paying Bureau and Portland Law Associates. You can't hear down there?
No.
Oh,
Yeah. Sorry.
I'm so sorry. It sounded clear to me. Let's try again. Our first discussion was about delinquent real estate tax collection. We had Mr. Kevin Barak from Portland Law. The presentation included information on the differences between the Bucks County Tax Claim Bureau and Portland Law Associates. Good, Dan? Okay, good. Our second discussion was a community climate survey RFP results and recommendation. Dr. O'Connell reviewed the vendors that submitted proposals in response to the RFP for community climate survey services. The following two vendors with the lowest rates met all the requirements for the RFP. The committee recommendation recommends adding a discussion into tonight's board meeting whether or not to proceed with a third-party vendor to conduct a community survey for approximately $10,000. Information C, fiscal oversight meeting dates. We have the meeting dates tentatively for 2026, 2027. Committee recommends adding a discussion this evening regarding the timing of the fiscal meetings. Action D, BCIU Head Start MOU. Recommended action, move that the board approve a memorandum of understanding with the Bucks County Intermediate Unit number 22 for Head Start as per the attached. Action E was Sentinel One agreement. We have a renewal license for Sentinel One, and I believe, guys, for 3 years.
Yes.
Right, and we are already using Sentinel One. This is a renewal license, so it will be up for approval this evening. Lakeside Youth Services. Recommended action, move the board approve an agreement with Lakeside Youth Services. Lou? Would you mind just explaining a little bit? I have you down for a number of these, just so the rest of the board understands what these are. Thank you.
Should we speak just to Lakeside or all of them?
All of them. Might as well do all of them. Keep you up there for a bit.
Okay, so relative to Lakeside, that is an agreement with a private school, licensed private school, for student services, student with disabilities that we were unable to serve ourselves. I believe also you have, I don't have it in front of me, agreements for the upcoming year. So within those agreements, we have our nursing services agreements with GHR. Is one company, Bayada another, and then Source for Nurses the third. These are third-party contractors that we use when we're unable to fill vacancies for substitutes or field trips.
The other one is the Delta Group as well, Delta T.
Delta T is being used to support us with paraeducators when we're unable to fill those roles.
And can you tell us about the Southeast Council of PA?
Sure. One of the mandates from Pennsylvania is that we provide student assistance programming. That programming is through the Southeast Council of Pennsylvania. Our SAP liaison is on site 1 day out of the week, serving the middle school and high school, where they may serve a few different roles, one of which is evaluations for students that may be at risk. Those evaluations are between that practitioner and the family, not privileged to the district. But another role they serve is to run some small groups and some counseling groups for our students that present with that risk.
Thank you very much.
Sure.
Thank you for that. Next item on there was action K, school dentist, Dr. Bukowski. Motion is in order to approve the school dentist by Nina Bukowski from Bukowski Dental LLC for 2026-2027 school year at the rate of $5 per student exam. This was discussed on Monday's meeting. The committee is recommending approval. Action M was Bucks County and Community Unit number 22, Special Education Services Agreement, recommended action. Move that the board approve the renewal agreement with the Bucks County and Community Union number 22. Recommending treasurer, action N, recommended action. In accordance with the requirements of section 404 of Pennsylvania Public School Code, a motion is in order to elect a treasurer to serve a 1-year term for an annual stipend of $300, beginning the first day of July 2026. Informational, 2026-2027 investment plan. Action P, resolution number 3, 2025-2026, pursuant to Act 1 of 2006 installment payments. Recommended action, move that the board approve the Act 1 of 2006 permitting all taxpayers to pay school real estate taxes in installment payments and setting forth the requirements and procedures related to the payment of property taxes by installment per attachment. Action Q, resolution number 4, 2025-2026, pursuant to Act 153 of 1996. This will be a roll call on board agenda of June 3rd, 2026. Recommended action, move that the board approve resolution number 4 for 2025-2026, pursuant to Act 153 of 1996, exempting certain real estate from further millage increases imposed on real property and setting forth the requirements and procedures related to that exemption as described for the attachment. The resolution was reviewed by the Fiscal Oversight Committee meeting on May 8th. The committee is recommending approval.
So that is the one. that we had some information we were looking for. And so there was no recommendation on that at this point.
That is correct. That is correct.
So I guess that would mean those minutes should be amended to such, to say such, right?
And I believe they will be amended. Thank you very much, everyone. Action R, resolution number 5, 2025-2026. Commit the fund balance of 2025-2026 general fund for capital projects. That will be a roll call. Recommended action, a motion is in order to approve resolution number 5, 2025-2026. To commit the fund balance of the 2025-2026 general fund for capital projects as required by GASB 54. This was reviewed at the Fiscal Oversight Committee meeting on May 18th. The committee is recommending approval. Action S, resolution number 6, 2025-2026 for the 2026-2027 budget and tax increase scenarios. Recommended action in accordance with the requirements of section 687 of the Public School Code. A motion is in order to approve budget resolution number 6, 2025-2026 for the 26-27 school year for the attachment. Action T, resolution number 7, 25-26 homestead and farmstead. Recommended action. A motion is in order to approve resolution number 7, 2025-2026, pursuant to Act 1 of the 2006 Homestead and Farmstead exclusion per attachment. The resolution will be reviewed at the Fiscal Oversight Committee meeting on May 18th. The committee is recommending approval. It will be a roll call.
Okay, this is another item, if I'm not mistaken, based on the outcome of some discussion tonight, will require recalculation for the homestead farmstead. Chris, is that correct?
The short answer is if you change the millage rate, you have to change the homestead farmstead calculation.
Right, so after tonight's discussion, we'll know definitely what that is, and then it'll need to be adjusted.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you. We also went over financial reports, budget transfers, and a review of the April financial reports. Prior month expenditures, today's summary was also gone over, informational. We had a food service update, a charter school update, a right to know request report, and an economic update. Our next scheduled meeting will be June 15th, 2026 at 9 a.m. Do I have any questions? Thank you, everyone.
Okay, thank you so much. Moving on to our policy review committee, which has been canceled for the remainder of this school year, pending unwinding of board debts. We should be able to do this summer on our new PSCH tool for policy maintenance. And we will be back at it as soon as that's up and running. So lots of work to be done in the new school year. Moving then to Director Landis and our Upper Bucks Tech School Committee report.
Thank you. Since I reported on the April meeting at the May 6th meeting, all I have tonight is the facilities and finance meeting on the 7th. There were a number of items on the agenda, with the most concerning being a report on the ECNR sewage agreement. We were fortunate to have our own Director Hollowell join the CNJ with the investigation, and hopefully we're going to have more updates on this at the board meeting tomorrow night. A quick reminder that there will be summer camp held June 22nd and 25th at the cost of $150 per student. The students grades 3 to 5 will be at 8 a.m. to 11 a.m. and the students entering grades 6 to 8 will be 12 p.m. to 3 p.m. And at this point, the programs offered include graphics, communications, agriculture science, carpentry, and culinary arts. And the UBCTS graduation will be next Wednesday by May 27th. And that's going to be at Quakertown High School. I believe it's in the, I believe it's a football field. I think it's in the football field. And the rain date is the 28th, which would be Thursday. And we have the policy and program committee meetings. We'll be meeting tomorrow evening, and that's Thursday, May 21st at 5:45 in the JOC boardroom. And the next regular JOC meeting will be held after the policy and program committee meetings, and that'll be tomorrow night, May 21st at 7 p.m. in the JOC boardroom, and the full agenda will be posted on the Upper Box website. Thank you. Any questions?
Thank you so much. Moving on to Director Hollowell with our BCIU people.
The Bucks County IU Board of Directors met Monday evening, full agenda. All for the agenda and the meeting minutes and the attachments will be attached to the IU report next month. If you have any questions on that, I can look into it.
All right, and last but not least, our dynamic duo, Director Landis and Director Nielsen for our PSBA report.
Thank you, it's me again. So PSBA will be hosting the policy portal and Keystone agenda trainings virtually, as well as in-person trainings at locations across the state in June. The virtual sessions will be held June 9th to 18th, and the in-person is June 23rd to 26th. The dates, times, and locations with registration links are on the PSBA portal. I don't know how drastically they're going to change things, but if you feel that, because we're not going to have board docs anymore, right?
So at least the policy committee, I will attend with Dina for sure, and will extend, invitations, especially to the policy committee.
Yeah.
It's especially relevant to Dina, who's making changes. We've had significant problems in board docs in the past because when the PSBA brings up a new policy, we cannot triangulate between their new policy, their old policy, and what was distinct in policies, because the policy committee often has our own approach. And it was nearly impossible to triangulate those changes. We're hoping it's better. I don't know that I'm confident it will be so, but we will persevere.
So will our agendas and all of the meeting, everything is still going to be in board docs? It's just going to be a different. No.
Well, no, board docs is a company. We have jettisoned.
So everything will be moved into Keystone, which is
a bit of a holdup at the moment. We all had some problems with the agendas at, I think, the last meeting, which was no fault of ours, and it is a board docs trouble. So hoping we have legal requirements around this, so hoping that has moved out.
So make sure you make note of those dates and sign up for those virtual trainings, June 9th to the 18th. The next item is the Pennsylvania School Safety Institute will be holding an open house June 12th from 9 to 12, and this is going to be at their facility, 400 Bennett Creek Boulevard in Mechanicsburg, PA. The PSBA Institute and Millersville University are offering foundational AI for school leaders and I can't pronounce this, and synchronous certificate program introducing school leaders to core AI concepts and their practical applications in education. The fall cohort runs August 3rd to September 4th, and registration closes July 24th this summer. There is still time to complete the survey that was sent out with a link on April 13th. You should have all gotten a copy of that. And the survey is to help PSBA set direction where they focus their advocacy. The survey must be completed and submitted by June 26th at 5 p.m. So if you have any strong feelings about some of the things that they're doing or not doing, now's your chance to speak up. And that's it.
Thank you, Director Landis. We have no committee approved expenditures tonight. So moving on to public comments. We do have one, if we could call down Lauren Hoppel from Malcolm Township. who will be speaking on pre-K counts. Welcome to the board meeting.
Good evening, members of the board, and thank you for giving me the opportunity to speak tonight. I truly appreciate you taking the time to hear me out, as this is something I've been advocating for about a year now. Ever since my request for my daughter to attend the Durham Malcolm-Nixon pre-K counts classroom was denied due to income eligibility requirements. Tonight, I respectfully ask the board to reconsider allowing a blended classroom model within our elementary schools pre-K counts program for the upcoming school year. Currently, there are approximately 13 open slots, I believe, projected for next year, in addition to multiple openings this year. Those empty seats represent missed opportunities, not only for children and families, but for our district as well. A blended model will allow for families who do not meet the income eligibility requirements to enroll through tuition while still preserving the program's mission of serving qualifying families. Instead of leaving seats empty, we could maximize the use of an already established high-quality educational program. As both a parent and as an educator, I understand how critical early childhood education is. Research consistently shows that children who attend high-quality pre-K programs enter kindergarten with stronger language, math, and social-emotional skills. Long-term studies also show higher graduation rates, improved earning potential, and reduced need for intervention services later in life. In a district like Palisades, this matters even more. We are a rural district serving roughly 1,300 to 1,400 students across a large geographic area, with relatively small kindergarten class sizes depending on the year. In communities like ours, readiness gaps are often more noticeable and can have a greater impact on student success. At the same time, private preschool options in our area are very limited, especially for working families who need reliable, full-time care that aligns with school schedules. A blended model would help address these challenges by expanding access to high-quality early education, supporting working families in our community, and maximizing existing resources and staffing, strengthening kindergarten readiness across a broader population of students. Our district is already recognized as a high-performing district with strong academic outcomes. Expanding early childhood access is one way to sustain strength and strengthen that success for future students. Additionally, the district is actively encouraging both pre-K counts enrollment and kindergarten registration for the upcoming school year. That demonstrates the importance of building a strong early learning pipeline, and blended model would help us do exactly that. Last summer, I spoke with Kim Day and was told the blended model was not approved because there's not enough perceived need. However, current enrollment numbers and ongoing community interest suggest otherwise. I've also heard concerns expressed that expanding preschool access within the elementary school setting could impact neighboring child care providers, or that some believe young children should remain home with a parent rather than attend preschool programs within the school district. I want to speak honestly about that perspective because as a mother and an educator, it's deeply painful to hear that. Of course, parents want to be home with their children. If many of us had the financial ability to comfortably live on one income in today's economy, some families might have made different choices, but families today are raising children in a completely different world than the one previous generations had. The cost of housing, groceries, healthcare, childcare, and everyday living has changed dramatically. For most families, two incomes are no longer a luxury, they're a necessity. So when working parents hear comments suggesting we should simply stay home with our children, or that a preschool somehow does not belong within an elementary school, it can feel discouraging and honestly insulting. Working parents are not choosing careers over their children or working to provide stability, opportunity, and a future for them. And as a veteran teacher myself, I also want to point out something else important. If communities truly expected mothers of young children to leave the workforce, and remain home full-time, districts like ours would lose outstanding educators, support staff, specialists, and countless other dedicated professionals who are also parents. We also need to recognize that many families today are navigating realities that did not exist decades ago. Times have changed, and the needs of working families have changed with them. Our policies and opportunities should revolve to reflect that reality.
Can we wrap up?
Yeah, sure. This is not a debate whether preschool belongs to Durham Malcolm-Nixon because the preschool already exists there. It's a proposal about simply opening current unused seats to additional families through a tuition-based program. Blended model to help those that are not meeting the requirements for the income.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
We appreciate it. Okay, we are moving again to our action agenda for tonight.
Action agenda item A, in accordance with board policy 006, a motion is in order to approve the consent agenda, which includes the minutes of meetings, our financial reports, and personnel recommendations. I need a motion.
I'll make a motion.
Thank you. Have a second.
I'll second it.
Okay. Any questions, concerns? Seeing none, we'll vote. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? Motion carries 9-0. And I believe we have a retired.
We do have a retirement, thank you. So Scott Davis is going to say a few words about Roseanne Herman before Justice Booth for retirement. So thank you, Scott.
Good evening. So after 17 years of service to Springfield Elementary School, Roseanne Herman will be retiring at the end of the school year. Roseanne started in Springfield as a Title I, Title II reading instructional assistant, then worked in a co-taught learning support classroom and became the learning support instructional assistant for many teachers. She's also worked with many different principals and counselors over the years. Roseanne has helped many students achieve their IEP goals through determination and persistence. She worked with small groups and one-on-one with students under the direction of the learning support teacher. She has been dependable and has a great way of working with children. She has been the go-to instructional assistant for grades 3 through 5 lunch and recess, and has always made sure that the team was prepared, playground was safe, and students always had new recess equipment. Roseanne has been part of our team that analyzes trends in student discipline data, has been a student mentor in the check-in, check-out program, serves on the building emergency medical response team, and also supported students through the district's after-school swimming program. In retirement, Roseanne looks forward to spending time with family, which includes teaching one of her daughters and son-in-law how to be new homeowners, and also caring for her elderly parents. Roseanne enjoys traveling and is looking forward to a trip to Italy next fall for her birthday. I want to thank Roseanne for all of her contributions to Springfield Elementary and the Palisades School District. She will be missed. Thank you.
Thank you, Roseanne, for her service on behalf of us all, and we wish you a wonderful retirement, and especially a wonderful time in Italy, and highly recommend that you take us. Certainly, service this summer.
Is, if it matters at all, but on the personnel recommendations, it says that she's at the high school and she's truly in Springfield. She is in Springfield. Okay.
Thank you, Deb. All right, moving on to action agenda item B. A motion is in order to approve the memorandum of understanding with the Palisades Educational Support Personnel Association to include a registered behavioral technician. Please note that it says the word specialist in the motion. It should read technician, which is a small change. The underlying MOU has the word technician. So it's simply a typo in the motion. So to include a registered behavioral technician in the contract. I need a motion. Thank you. Have a second. Any comments, questions, concerns? Okay, see none. We will move to vote. All in favor, please say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Any abstentions? Motion carries 9-0. Okay, action agenda item C. A motion is in order to approve the new registered behavior technician. I want to say technologist, but that's mine. A registered behavior technician job description, RBT, which is dependent on board docs. Again, that is a slight change in the wording of the motion, but underlying documents remain the same. I need a motion.
I'll make a motion.
Thank you. Have a second.
I'll second.
Okay, do you have any questions or concerns? Seeing none, we'll move to vote. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? Motion carries 9-0. Action agenda item D, a motion in order to approve the investment plan for the 2026-2027 fiscal year as required by board policy 69, The plan was reviewed by the Fiscal Oversight Committee at the May 18th, 2026 meeting, and the committee is recommending approval. I need a motion.
I'll make the motion.
If you have a second,
I'll second.
any comments, questions, or concerns? Seeing none, we'll move to vote. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? Motion carries 9-0. Action agenda item E, a motion is in order to approve resolution number 3, 2025-2026, pursuant to Act 1, 2006, permitting all taxpayers to pay school real estate property taxes in installment payments and setting forth the requirements and procedures related to the payment of property taxes by installment for every township. This was reviewed by the Fiscal Oversight Committee at the May 18th, 2026 meeting, and the committee is recommending approval. I need a motion.
I'll make a motion.
Thank you. Have a second.
I'll second.
Thank you. Any questions or concerns? Seeing none, all in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? Motion carries 9-0. Okay. Yes, so we're going to, well, somebody should table this, but I will read the motion and then the committee can offer its advice. Action agenda item F, a motion is in order to approve resolution number 4, 2025-2026, pursuant to Act 153 of 1996, exempting certain real estate from further millage increases imposed on real property and setting forth requirements and procedures related to that exemption and as described for the attachment. The resolution was reviewed at the Fiscal Oversight Committee, but the committee did not have approval, which is different than the recommended action in board docs. So I need a motion or other action.
I'll move the table.
Thank you. Do I have a second?
I second.
Okay. And I believe you need to table it to a specific date.
Table it to the next meeting.
I don't know that we need to vote on it, but I think, anyway, all in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstention? Okay, motion F is tabled until the June 3rd, 2026. Action agenda item G. A motion is in order to approve resolution number 5, 2025-2026, to commit the fund balance of the 2025-2026 general fund for capital projects as required by GAP 54. This was reviewed by the Fiscal Oversight Committee at the May 18th, 2026 meeting, and the committee is recommending approval. Make the motion.
I'll make the motion.
Thank you. To have a second.
I'll second.
Okay, any comments, questions? Seeing none, we will move to vote. This is a roll call vote, and I will ask Sue to call the roll.
Director Hernandez.
It's a roll call vote.
You're looking at me, so I guess, did you say my name?
Yes.
No, I haven't heard anything down here, so, yes.
Better?
Yes.
Director Nielsen.
Yes.
Director Ott.
Yes.
Director Ronalds.
Yes.
Director Renville.
Yes, and I just want to make sure everyone's aware that if there's any changes made to that, it just requires the same action to make a change.
Yes. Director Muir.
Yes.
Director Freeman.
Yes.
Director Hollowell.
Yes.
Director Lamont.
Yes.
Minutes.
Motion carries 9-0. Thank you. Okay. Action agenda item H. A motion is in order to approve the memorandum of understanding between the Palisades School District and the Bucks Island Head Start pre-K providers and local early childhood centers as per the attachment. The MOU was reviewed by the Fiscal Oversight Committee at the May 18th, 2026 meeting, and the committee is recommending approval. I need a motion.
I'll make the motion.
Thank you. Have a second.
I'll second.
Any questions or concerns?
The only thing I want to say on this is we talk about this at the fiscal committee, and I know Dr. O'Connell is working on getting how many children are going to the Bucks IU Head Start, and could they be, that's probably not the right language, better served coming to our pre-K program. So just, I'm not saying don't approve this, I'm just saying it would be interesting to know.
Thank you, Dr. Bureau. Anybody else? Seeing none, I'll move to vote. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? Motion carries 6-0. That's it. I don't want to hear you.
Could I just ask, make a quick ask? If I thought I understood that this was just in regards to, transferring records. That's not this one, that is this one. Right? I mean, I understand what you're asking.
Right.
The stuff that you're asking, but I think this motion is just about them sharing
Information,
information.
it is, I'm just curious as to how many children go to Head Start.
Right, okay. I think it just piques Dr. Bureau's curiosity.
Yes, understood, but I just.
Understood. I just wanted everybody to know that this MOU really doesn't pertain to Jack. It's something different, but yeah.
Thank you. All right, action agenda item I. Motion is in order to approve the agreement to purchase from the Bucks County Intermediate Unit number 224701 for school years 2025, 2026, 2027, 2027, 2028, and 2028, 2029. The agreement has been reviewed by the Fiscal Oversight Committee at the May 18th, 2026 meeting, and the committee is recommending approval. I make a motion.
I'll make a motion.
Thank you. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Okay, any comments, questions, concerns? Seeing none, we'll move to vote. All in favor, please say aye. Oh,
Aye.
oh, there's a big one. Aye. Any opposed? Any abstentions? Motion carries 2-0. Action agenda item J, a motion is in order to approve the pre-K counts funding agreement between Lifespan School and Daycare and the Palisades School District. The agreement was reviewed by the EPS committee at the May 13th, 2026 meeting, and the committee is recommending approval. I need a motion.
I'll make a motion.
I need a second.
I'll second.
Thank you very much. Karen, it might be helpful for you to lay out the difference between J and K.
So this one is just the standard agreement. This is exactly what we had approved last year. Nothing has changed in approving it for this year.
Any questions on this one? Okay, seeing none, all in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Any extensions? Motion carries. Oh,
That's me.
oh, yes, that makes sense. Okay, motion carries 8-0-1. Action agenda item K. A motion is in order to approve the pre-K counts addendum, which will allow up to 5 tuition accepting students to participate in the pre-K counts program. The addendum was reviewed by the EPS committee at the May 13th, 2026 meeting. And the committee kicked it to us to make a decision because I think they were deadlocked. I wasn't there, and Director Nielsen is abstaining because of this reason. So I need a motion.
I'll make a motion.
Thank you. Have a second? I'll second it.
So this is what I had shared in the EPS notes, that this is taking tuition students. Currently, we're going to change the number of the lower income students to be from 17 to 15. Currently, I believe we are at 9 students who have signed up. 11, thank you. Oh, okay, 2 of them. Okay, so we're 11 students out of that 15. Then what this would do would allow 5 tuition students to have a total of up to 20 students. Only 5, even if we don't get the 15 low income, still we could only take 5. So I will say, and I've talked to many of you on this, I can see the yes and no's on this. I agree with every single yes and every single no. It is a tough one. So, you know, we wanted to bring it to all of you to get your thoughts and then to have your votes.
Thank you, Dr. Beers.
I have a question. This program here, it's, third party lifespan, and how are they funded to run this program?
The grant.
It's a grant.
Yeah, is that right, Dr. O'Connell? Yes, it's a state funded program.
It's a state funded program. So what happens when state funding runs out?
That's a great question. A great question. And that, it would have to come to the board to be answered. The board would have to determine whether, that continue. I don't think the money's gonna run out, but again, that's one of the caveats.
Well, and I remember, I would share too that the grant that the district entered into with lifespan is for 5 years. So there was never an expectation going into offer pre-K at Durham Mass that it then, if money dried up, for lack of a better term, that the district would take it over. So there was never that conversation or expectation. All the board is doing is paid to a program to provide pre-K to our kids. That's it. So if the grant funding goes away, there has never been a conversation or discussion or expectation that the district would expand its role in educating our community below kindergarten. So we're K-12 and older if necessary, but this is state funded, release space, amazing program. Comes to the graduation through weather for it.
I'll double back on that because I think that's a key difference. I mean, I have a lot to say, but just following up on that. We're acting as a landlord in this, right? Because this is not our program. We are leasing a wonderful landlord. That's works in the program, and it is a wonderful program, but they are our tenants, for lack of a better term. Now, it is a wonderful symbiosis, of course. It lends into our educational mission very, very well. But we are simply acting as a contract between a lessee and a lessor. And any movement we can do to help our tenants, a little bit, but to have a viable program, to have tuition-paying students so that they can shore up this program and ensure its longevity and its existence past this 5 years or in excess of any grant funding, I think would be a good thing for them, for our students, and for the district. It really doesn't entangle us in the underlying services, because this really is a lease agreement at the end of the day. I'll have more to say, but I'll stop there.
So if you'll allow me, and it's already been talked about a little bit, when this program was first brought up, and let me just say, on the surface, yeah, this sounds like, oh, no brainer, do it, right? I mean, I get that. On the surface, it sounds great. It sounds like, why would we? The devil's always in the details. When this was first brought to EPS, Don Holmes came and said, hey, we can get a grant, and it's for struggling families in our community that need the help. And we had a good survey, and it was proven to us that yes, this is to really serve the needs of the community that could not be served elsewhere. And one of the big concerns at the EPS committee at that point was we don't want this to be expanded and all of a sudden Palisades is doing pre-K. And that was a big concern, and that was something that was brought up and discussed and said, and it's in the minutes, and so. And now, this is not the first year that we've had somebody come and ask us to do this, and I understand it. On the surface, it sounds absolutely fine. The problem is, this is how you look back, okay, 10 years forward, you look back and you go, oh, this is how now we have a budget item. Because we started doing something and then we did it a little bit more and then we did a little more, and all of a sudden the community just, well, you're doing it for them, why don't you add us? And why can't we do this? And why doesn't this? And all of a sudden now, the burden is on the back of all the taxpayers. And that's not what Palisades ever wanted to do. Secondly, we have some classes, in my opinion, I've always struggled with taking a classroom for this. When I see
some of our other classes being held in glorified closets. And that to me is a problem. Third, we have just spent $15,000 to have a study done of our buildings, building use, and what things we're going to look at in the future. And, you know, basically we're looking at this distinct possibility of building consolidation. So to think about endorsing the expansion of something that, as we just said, is really not something that we are providing here, we're just a landlord. That's another reason that I have a concern with this. The other thing is that we are causing an atmosphere for entrepreneurs, which is where this type of service should come from. We're taking away, disincentivizing them to consider opening up, okay, pre-K and daycares and so forth, if all of a sudden now the public entity is providing these services. Because the general public, A, does not see it as that we're just a landlord. And number two, and I spoke when this first started, or was proposed starting, I spoke with somebody in our district that offered these services and that was going out of business. And one of their, you know, they said, no, it's not like because of this, but, and they shared with me some of the hurdles and the challenges and so forth in opening up a facility. And part of it has to do with the facilities and the government regulations. Well, we make that really easy because we meet those standards. But once again, then we're going to be taking away potential students from somebody that might be trying to put together a business model to serve the larger community. So for all of these reasons, once again, on the surface, yeah, my heart goes out. I want to say, yeah, absolutely. There's space in the classroom. You know, why not do it? We're just a landlord. But I can see where this is going to wind up in the long run hurting our community by not allowing capitalism to work in our small community. And number two, end up it just becomes a budget item a couple years down the road because nobody realized how the thing started to begin with. So that's my reason why where my heart goes out, and I understand the surface. I have to look at the bigger picture, and that's why I'm not in favor of this. Thank you.
Thank you, Scott. And I'm in agreement with you, and I expressed a lot of that on Wednesday night at the EPS meeting. And I also, I agree, you know, 10 years down the road, we'll see that. None of us will probably be here, except maybe Jim Howell, but I would even go further and say, let's not have this come up every year. We have a pre-K counts program. It's for children that fall within that category, and let's keep it at that. And you know, take it a step further and say, this is it. You know, this is where we're at, and this is what we're saying. That's my question.
Gives more 2 cents. Probably in the majority anyway, minority anyway. I just don't see this as a commodity. You know, being a working mom of 3, and I probably have a young sit on this board. It's not just, okay, facility X has a spot, I'm going to put my child in facility X. It is a triangulation among the needs of the students, the needs of the family. Are they going to pick up from, it is so complicated to find a place that you can trust, that has the hours that you need, that has the spot that you need, that offers the services that that particular child needs. It is not simply a one-to-one, you know, you go buy the widget and that's the widget and that's the end of the story. I think the more options we can provide our working families, the better. You know, we have a working mom of 4 here, and I can relate to that. You know, and frankly, all the childcare options down in Tinicum are wrong. The childcare options that I used that did provide services through Tinicum Elementary, they're wrong. So I don't know why we would service it that way, number one. Number two, we're looking at a handful of spots here. I don't think this is going to really break it back to anybody. And 3, we keep talking about leading students out to private schools, to charter schools, to homeschooling. This is an opportunity to get people saturated, again, terrible word, but at least used to the Palisades experience, to expect what our buildings are like, especially if they have a sibling at Durham or a sibling somewhere and can triangulate there. I think it's a wonderful opportunity to keep families in our public school districts. And that is at the heart. We keep trying to find ways to keep students here. We keep trying to find ways to bring revenue in vis-a-vis, rents, these opportunities. This is one of them. So I am absolutely in favor of it. I don't see this causing a big ripple. It's certainly not going to cause a ripple in Tiverton, but we don't have any options. And I just think the more options we can give our young families at this point, the better.
I just want to circle back on just the previous agenda item that we agreed on. So this ties into this, does it not? Right, so I just find it interesting that we don't run the Head Start. We don't have anything to do with it per se, but it comes on our agenda. What I find very interesting about how the BCIU gets involved with this is that all information on assessment results, health records, IDPs, or other information for health teachers meet individual student needs. I don't understand why we are involved with that or have to sign off that when it is a third party that's running. Different program?
Head Start is a federally funded program with different requirements involved in it. Pre-K Counts is a state funded program. They serve the same age group, pre-K students, children, but they're different.
But we're K through 12, right?
Yeah.
Right, so how does pre-K?
Because the pre-K the preschool students are coming into the district, so there's an obligation to have that sharing of information from those programs to the district.
So in essence, if we didn't have lifespan in our building, we wouldn't have to worry about it.
No, you would, because
Okay.
there's students that go to Head Start
Got
that
it.
yeah.
That was the confusion because they, same name for both agendas.
No.
It's just, working on that part of the way and a little puff of smoke.
You would still be obligated to transfer student information.
Okay.
Like I said in the beginning, I agree with everything that Director Friedman said. I agree. Where I always come to my challenge is, you may not have heard this, but I really want us to have a position at the middle school, to support our students. I'm the girl who wants a PAL teacher. When it comes to students, I just want to do what we can, and that's why I struggle here.
Make a motion to table this because there's a lot of discussion going back and forth. I think we should discuss this at the next CPS meeting. The motion to table.
Just know if you move to table, then we can't discuss it any further tonight. And if we move to table it, we only have one board meeting, at least 2 board meetings and 1 EPS left. EPS already discussed it. And to prepare for next year, we really do have to make a decision.
I still make a motion to table.
Okay, does anybody second?
What would tabling do?
Tabling, you need to decide when it's going to come up again. So we're just postponing this discussion. We're having it, let's have it, let's do it, that's where I am. We need to, we have to have it, not making decisions. I think we have to make a decision on this. Probably not tonight, but we have to make a decision by the end of the school year, so Lifespan knows what it is. And parents can make, whatever agreements, whatever things are necessary. Which is Okay, any other comments? So we did not have a second to the motion. Okay. You were getting close. I think we're just gonna vote. All right. Okay, so we're voting on agenda item J. All in favor, please say. No, okay, I'm sorry. I shouldn't. Little sleight of hand to get Scott confused. All in favor, okay, so we're voting on action item J, a motion to approve. Okay. So action agenda item K, which is a motion to approve the addendum that allows tuition students. That's all we're voting on. All in favor, please say aye. Aye. Okay, all opposed?
No.
Okay, any abstentions?
Yes.
Okay, now I do that. Motion fails. 2, 6, 1. Girls got this. Okay. Moving on then to our discussions for the evening. Should you know say that? Okay, our first discussion, 7A, the fiscal committee recommended bringing the following questions to the board for discussion. Should the board proceed with a third-party vendor to complete a community survey at the cost of approximately $10,000? Okay.
What's the survey gonna do for us? I mean, we've had surveys in the past. What's new about this? What's, you know, with the budget that we have to spend 10K on a survey that maybe what, 15% of the public might respond to?
Yeah, I do. So I want to go back because we had some discussion about this at fiscal, and I pulled up the RFP that we had sent out because I think that was helpful. And we said that, you know, we are looking for a proposal for qualified vendors to design, administer, and analyze a comprehensive community climate survey. The survey will target 3 stakeholder groups: students in grades 4 to 12, parents and guardians, and then district staff, instructional and non-instructional. And so that was why we went out for the RFP, because it almost went back to when we were looking at different surveys. I think Director Ramos had shared, you know, what Philadelphia does and how they do that to get feedback that is, you know, comes from a third party, because then it is anonymous and you do get valid and reliable questions that are being asked and so forth. So I think that's why we went out to RFP. And so we were a little confused at fiscal the other day about, you know, where we were going and what we were doing with this. So I kind of pulled that up and then
Well, I think the question also came up, is this, because we talked about a 360, is this going to be in place of that, or you know, is it a combination? And also, what budget year is this coming in?
I will, let the fiscal discuss the budgetary pieces of it, but the 360, let's put to its separate side. So these are completely separate. The 360 is really an internal tool. We're talking about a 360 feedback system. It is an internal tool for peers and for subordinates and managers to, you know, share feedback amongst each other. That will get into next year. We will have people, you know, a committee, probably Dr. Connell, still working out the details, discuss what that looks like internally, but let's think of that as an internal deployment tool to help everybody kind of think through growth opportunities and things like that. A community survey, completely different. A 360, you would open up to the book. A community survey is more about, but I thought this was just parents.
Yeah, so I think we need to define a community, because according to the RFP, community is those students, parents and guardians, and staff. That is the consistence of community. I think when some are thinking about community, you're thinking like far and wide to everybody that's in the district. That's not the definition of community in this particular instance, correct?
Yes. Also, the comprehensive plan survey, there was so much information in there that what are we gonna use this, are we really gonna use this data? I mean, what are we gonna use it for? Because if we're gonna pay for pulling together data, we need to make sure that it's going to be utilized in the way that we intend it to be utilized. I don't know, I'm really between rock and a hard place on this. I'm like Karen with the pre-K house. Like I see it from both sides, but you know.
So it was my understanding that the comprehensive plan information, you had to do a lot of soul searching to find out what we were looking for. Even though we might have had some summaries that was, so it just took hours to look through it to see what we wanted to get. A type of survey from a third party that the RFP went out, the information is pretty much up front. Okay, it's a climate survey for all intents and purposes. And what we get to find out from an entity like this is it will give us information, a snapshot information where we don't have to dig through all the paperwork to find out what's going on. It's going to be categorized, broken down, give it to us, assessed, and then it can be used as a metric from what we're starting. And if we do this, I'm not saying we're going to do this every year. Maybe you do it every few years. Maybe you do it every 5 years. I don't know. It's something that the board has to come up with. But it is something to give us a climate on how we're doing, how we as a board are doing, how leadership here at the school is doing, how the teachers perceive what leadership is doing and or the board, how the community perceives us and what we're doing, and the best part of all is how the students perceive what we're doing, or what we believe that they're doing, and how this school district is doing their job. And I've sent out in the past on how other districts are doing it, and I hope everyone had an opportunity. I sent it out more than once, and it was clear, cut, concise.
So who puts the questions together? Is that a company?
Yes.
The company does that?
Yes.
And then can we take it out of this budget year? Is that possible?
The one that we're in right now?
Right.
There's the man right there. It's not, we don't have it, right.
The expense needs to hit the fiscal year when the services are provided. This is really a 26, 27 budget item.
Yeah.
And I asked about the timing. I'm never against feedback. I'm not sure about the timing on this one for me. Because I'm a little concerned as we have these conversations with KCBA around building consolidation, that their recommendation is going to be to do a survey. So my thinking here is that perhaps we should have some money in the budget for next year. And I personally want to hear where they're going and what feedback we're going to need from the community on that before we launch something else, because I don't want the feedback to be moved, because we're doing something, we're going left and the survey went right. So I'm a little, I don't want a double survey for sure. So if we're going to spend the money, to me, it has to have a maximum impact. And I need to know what KCBA really needs us to do for purposes of having those building consolidation sessions. So that's where I'm trying.
So when it comes to building consolidation, I think, fiscally speaking, the state of finances is not only our little school district, which I believe we're doing a lot better than most, but the state and our whole nation is going right now. The numbers speak for itself. You know, our student enrollment in 2000 was over 2,200 students. Here we are at 2026, and we're averaging 1,300 and change. Okay, we have a national debt of almost $40 trillion, and we have some buildings at less than 44% occupancy. We're going to have deficits as we go forward that are just going to get greater and greater until we get and wrap ourselves around what needs to be done. KCBA is a step in the right direction. We have to understand that we want to provide as many services as we can to our students and our community. And to do so, these are the things that we're just up against. And I understand you're coming from, I absolutely do. But at the end of the day, I look at, I'll give the example that I've given before. My wife and I went to the vision on a house. We all decided that the kids are gonna leave soon, so we housed off. Guess what? We're empty nesters now. What do I do with the extra space? All right, so we have a net migration leaving our state. And there's 2 other states that are ahead of us, New York and New Jersey. The U-Haul index is telling everybody what's going on. They're headed south, right? We have a birth rate that's collapsing in our country. And we have inflation that's rearing us ugly head, and we're in a cyclical inflation environment for who knows, but it's definitely not going to end in the next 5 years. So these are some tough decisions we're making here tonight. And I'm thankful for everyone's input that we get here. Thank you.
And to be clear, I wasn't necessarily suggesting that the survey was whether to do it or not. We will certainly have plenty of conversations around that. I think it's more, if we're thinking that we're going to do it, we need to talk to parents about bus routes and lunches and timing of, there's so many things to think through. And, KCBA came to us and we talked through just the different districts, and a parent came up with the idea of having an express bus route through a really far away location, like things like that, to surface those kinds of good ideas around how to do this and how to do that. That was the spirit of the survey.
I guess I understand what you're saying, but I do see that those questions and those concerns are very different than what I would see the climate survey as. So I understand the concern about, paying for a service of that and then another survey around something else. I do see them as 2 different things. And it's been stated that a district is able to do survey type things for much less of a cost. That would be an area where I would find it adequate to use our district's ability to put out that survey and get the feedback rather than the third party use for that particular purpose, but that's my fault.
Well, and I know that, we have, different survey callouts in the comprehensive plan, and we have a budget for the comprehensive plan. There's money in the budget.
So I know, I just reviewed the survey and results that you had sent out, prior, but I think what was unclear to me, and maybe you don't know others, what do you feel that those districts glean from, or how do they use the results that they have?
I had, those surveys were sent to me by a teacher of the district. And one of the things that she mentioned to me that stuck with me was the anonymity of it. And when people have anonymity, they tend to say more. And that's one of the biggest things that she just have done. It's just like, hey, so we just add anonymity, and we just went in here and we said we wanted to say. We didn't have to worry about the question. Okay, fair enough.
So are you saying when we send surveys out through the district that they're anonymous?
I can't answer that.
They are. I think there's always going to be somebody who's worried. I mean, I'm sure Gary can figure something out if he really wants. He doesn't, and he won't. But people have fears, and I don't know if they're well founded or not. But it is meant to be anonymous. Whether people feel it really is or not, I think it is.
In other words, it can be anonymous.
And you can make it anonymous, and you can put your name in it if you want.
Because with the comprehensive plan survey, there was a thing at the end that said, if you want to be part of, be on a committee or something like that, you put your name on it, and I think that's what kind of stirred up, concerns. Well, then I put my name on it, so therefore, it's not really enough. So, that was my question, can it be enough?
Yes.
Yeah, I think in the future, that question, that, if you want to be part of the committee, should come in a different place. The teachers and staff, so that was, that was certainly not an intentional. It's a matter of who gets the way the survey was generated. We did get that feedback, and we'll take advantage of that next time and separate it.
And I think the question for the board right now is, do you want to include $10,000 in next year's budget to do a third-party survey? That's it. There's not currently, we do have a comprehensive plan, but that was a line item for that budget. So if the board says, yes, with $10,000, putting out the RFP to get, prices, that would be the initial question, how much would this cost? Or you can spend up to $22,000 if you want, but $10,000 seems to be an accurate rate. And if so, then Chris will add that to the budget, and you'll see that in what you would be.
So, yes or no?
The question that came out of the school was, does the board want to spend $10,000 on a third-party survey? That was the question.
Jim, you're looking at me, what are you thinking?
I think we do a pretty good job with comprehensive plan surveys and to go through it at this point. I don't know what another one is.
We don't know what you said.
We don't know what we said, Jim. You have to pull the link.
Sorry. I think there's surveys that we put out to the comprehensive plan. We put out other surveys. I think at this point, we don't know what they asked. I don't know what they asked. I don't know if I'm ready to spend money.
Thank you.
Mm. On the one hand, I want to support Saul because this was something that he has really wanted to do, but we're really trying to bring down the budget, and we want to see a big tax increase. So it's only $10,000, but it's $10,000. I mean, I don't know. What do you think, Sarah?
She's like the teacher that's calling on people.
I would say I see the reasons, for this. I do have a problem spending money. When also I think we do collect a lot of information, and I'm sorry, the cynic in me goes, I don't know that we're gonna get anybody else to fill it out than what does already, because they're still gonna be concerned that somebody may find out who it is, and or they're just too busy, to fill it out, or they're not gonna read what it says anyway, so there's a little bit of a concern there. I also just don't know, I don't feel as though we have talked about this enough and formulated the absolute, this is why we're doing it, and this is when we want it to go out. So I think that needs to have a lot of discussion, not tonight. But, as Dr. O'Connell said, really the question is, do you want to include this in the budget for next year? And if we put it in the budget, we don't have to do it. But if we don't put it in the budget, we don't have it as an option. So that's what I'm tussling with, and based upon that, I would be willing to say, okay, let's put it in the budget, and then we have the option. We don't have to do it. We have the option to have this more in-depth discussion, next year, and decide whether we actually do spend the money.
I'm supportive of that as well. I'm not convinced that the timing is quite right, or that we know what we're asking yet. I'm willing to earmark it, but I'm not ready to go for it for sure. But that's not where we are tonight. So I'm okay earmarking it, then feedback is feedback. I need a little bit more details about who, what, when, and how, but that's what next year's for. So I'm generally okay at putting it in the budget with 2 question marks.
Great.
Okay, you're just voting discussion. I'm hearing a direction to put $10,000 into next year's budget for the purposes of a third party survey. Do I have a clear direction on that? Okay.
Yes.
Thank you.
Yay. Right, forget it, so. I'm right back at you. For discussion item B, the fiscal committee meeting calendar. The fiscal committee recommended bringing the following questions to the board for discussion. Does the board want to move the fiscal committee meetings? Ideas suggested include the 3rd Thursday of the month and the 4th Wednesday of the month.
So I'll just jump in, just because we had conversation about this and those were 2 items. I did ask Chris to talk with the business department about the ramifications of those 2 options. The concern about moving the fiscal committee after the board meeting, so that would be, we have this board meeting that's that Thursday. There would be too much time between when the board looks at those financial reports, you understand what I'm saying? And then by the time the next meeting is that they vote on it, so that's too much time. The other concern, the other option that was brought up was to have the regular board meeting on the 4th Wednesday of the month, and then flip extracurricular buildings and grounds, for example, to the 3rd. Business department did discuss that, and their concern is that if you wait until the 4th Wednesday of the month, it's too close to that all the bills are due. So they may not be we would issue them if they would not arrive to those accounts in time. So that is the feedback from the business office.
And if I'm not mistaken, I thought we were asking to do the fiscal meeting the Thursday before the board meeting, not the Thursday right after the board meeting. So we were looking to just do it a few days, and normally have it on the Monday before the board meeting. If we were to do it 2 business days before, that would be a Thursday.
The Thursday after EPS. Because EPS is the 2nd. Wednesday.
And then that way, it was just a couple extra days to help the individuals that wanted to preview and look at, or whatever you want to look at.
So that would be financial reports together for.
That would be
That
that would be the concerns, making sure we have enough time to get all the reports together.
So are we talking about, even if it's the 3rd Thursday or the 4th Wednesday, are we talking about evening? Because I think that's the issue. The evening. Because we were talking about moving this, so people who can't typically come in the morning could now come if it's in the evening. So I don't think the 3rd Thursday or the 4th Wednesday is gonna make a difference.
We were talking about during the day, moving from Monday 9 AM to perhaps a Thursday during the day.
But I think that this was brought up because people who can't attend during the day want options.
Well, we do have, there are some meetings throughout the calendar year that are in the evening. But if I may say, this is why we have committees. And we have committees for a reason. Not everybody shows up to all the committees. I understand this was an important one. But I believe Director Landis brought up a good point. Perhaps we could have quarterly meetings to digest things. Work sessions, yeah. Which is, I'm up for 110%.
Well, that's good to hear. I like that. So if these days are an issue as far as Thursday, Wednesday, if it would stay the Monday, am I hearing this all that you would not be in favor of moving the fiscal meeting from Monday morning to Monday evening?
That is correct.
I mean, it would save a lot in trying to figure out that calendar, moving days and so forth. If we leave it on the same day, just move it to the evening.
So other than the idea of having quarterly work sessions around fiscal issues or any issues, would not solve a whole lot. I mean, that's really your thought.
Explain to me again what the problem with the third Thursday was, because that's only 3 or 4 days before the Monday meeting that you were at.
I'm sorry, Colleen, we couldn't hear you very well, so I apologize. If you would have mind coming up to the mic, maybe just explaining why a couple of days means a lot.
I think we're talking about the second Thursday.
It had to be a second.
The second Thursday. Yeah, the third Thursday doesn't make any sense.
No,
It's after, in other words, after. But the second, so the day after, yes.
As a,
But, so it's in the morning, so we would have EPS for the night, and then first thing in the morning would be.
and then that would,
The Thursday prior to our regular fiscal on Monday, sometimes it runs pretty tight already as it is on a Monday, but if the stars align right, Thursday would work, but for the most part, it's pretty tight getting all the reports together, all the reconciliations done. Yeah, it's just pretty tight getting it done by then, because we really would have to have everything done by probably Monday to get it to you to prepare, and get it, because now we try to get everything done by Wednesday for the Monday meeting.
okay, is there, I mean, I know we're currently the third Wednesday for our full board meeting. But is there flexibility, trying to think if we're bound by that, or whether we can go to the, like you said earlier, flip-flop buildings and grounds and, extracurricular to the third Wednesday and board meeting the fourth Wednesday, then this could stay the third Monday.
Then we do have trouble in board meetings, because then we'll have the fourth and then the first, because it's first and third. So we'll have back to back, and it gets very, very confusing very quickly, unfortunately. Because we have some double board meeting months, we would have one on the fourth week, and then one on the fifth.
No. I guess then my only other question is in regards to that is if fiscal meets on Monday morning at 9, what's the expectation for the information to be out? Because I've already looked Monday evening and it's not there. and then I'm at work all day Tuesday, and that gives me Tuesday night to kind of digest and get things ready for, my question or whatever for the Wednesday board meeting. And so that would be usually,
it's continuing to be an issue. Though I do think the board is having,
I can speak to that. I mean, the video takes a day to process.
Okay.
From this video tonight, it's going to take tomorrow until tomorrow morning to process. So, and then it takes another 6 to 8 hours for it to process on YouTube when I upload it. So that's why it's delayed.
That's right. Yeah. Hindsight, when you put those together, it gives,
I mean, believe me, I looked at many options, and none of them seemed particularly ideal to all of us. I do think, if I could be so bold, we're having a bit of an existential crisis here. In short, we have a lot of things on the agenda tonight that probably I don't know, I'll pick on Director Hollowell, but 3 or 4 years ago would have all been committee work. So a lot of the committee work is starting to roll up to the board as a whole. And I think the board's going to need to wrestle that. Either we have because having a committee structure and not making committee decisions and then doing full board meetings around the committee decisions or lack thereof. I think we either need to go one way or the other. And it's a board decision what way that is, but having committee meetings, not making discussions, and then and basically committee meetings within the board meeting is a lot. Not answering your question, I realize, but I think the board maybe needs to retreat a little bit around the issue of, are we going to be a board as a whole, a committee as a whole? which I know some folks on the board are in favor of, and we seem to be, I know, thank you. We're moving in that direction a little bit. I don't know if that's intentional or not, but there's a little tension. Now, getting information has been difficult, absolutely. I was just thinking, perhaps, and this won't help on the decisional side, but looking at some of the draft agendas going into this before Monday would be helpful. I haven't really put my mind around it yet, just so because usually the committee gets advanced copies of the agenda and stuff to understand what's going to happen. So perhaps we can do a better job of servicing those. Gary, I'm sorry, you've got something to say.
I don't know if this is an option, but the transcript is done immediately after the meeting. Is that something I could send to just the board?
I would.
I mean, it's not perfect by any means. It doesn't say usually who's talking.
No, but it's informational.
Yeah.
And I believe that's if I'm wrong, you're looking to at least look at something.
Yeah, because sometimes, that would be a lot of reading, but it would be better than.
It gives you the gist of the conversation.
And Sylvia, to your point about things, I think fiscal, to me, is that we're being asked to be fiscally responsible to the taxpayers, and having a balanced budget as everybody has really worked very hard on this year, and not having a large tax increase. And things that come up, there are things I can read from fiscal that I'm like, okay, that's a renewal, like those kinds of things are the easy ones. But when the things come up that will have a question and are having impact to the budget, then I feel sometimes I might need more information, or I want to be able to read and understand it before it. Not have to go. I don't really know that it. Understood. It's fair. Well, I don't know that we're going to reach a decision tonight on this. Well, certainly there are some opportunities here for, well, there's not many more meetings left, but let's at least try to take a few things, take a look at that transcript and see what it looks like. Betsy, I'll have a conversation with them around whether draft agendas can go. I'm spitballing here.
I think that, the draft agenda goes out on Thursdays, Wednesdays or Thursdays.
Thursday.
Yeah, so the draft agenda goes out on Thursday, and we really work to get the minutes out and produce them as quickly as possible. Often writing them in the moment, but sometimes fiscal meetings are dense with questions coming in and trying to capture the minutes. And so, Gary, thank you for that transcript idea. And again, you can on writing the minutes out as quickly and accurately as possible. I think Chris, when you're assembling that agenda, you'll touch base with the treasurer to make sure, see if there's any questions. And I don't know if we can get them out any sooner than Thursday to sort of back it all up to have it pulled together, then discuss with the chair and then we get it out. But,
yeah, and I was suggesting, I just think, perhaps it might be good so that everybody knows on Thursday, and I think I don't remember which committee does what, but just to have a sense of it's A, B, and C this week. Without, we can have some further discussions around, just a sort of advance notice of what's coming up for the rest of the board. But look, this is a tricky problem. I don't think there's a singular answer. Any good ideas, please float my way. I'll continue to work fiscal to try to figure it out. If we can figure out, I'm happy to move the policy discussion, but you can't have fiscal records for the board meeting because the contracts won't make it to the board meeting. There's no simple switch.
I think we could also try to work on those agendas, Betsy, to your point of, what's renewal, like just note it, it's very clear, because a lot of the things that come through fiscal are routine, every year, and then maybe we can work on the agenda to have a section that says new business or new items. So then it's clear for you to see these 3 items we never discussed as a fiscal committee before. It'll come to the board at some point, maybe not the next meeting, but the meeting after that. Maybe that would help clarify, so you can move through it a little bit quicker. Than the, nursing contract or anything like that. We'll try to do a better job too on just clarity of those agendas, so you can go through and see new items and call them. That's good. Well, and I do think, as we look at the calendar for next year, putting some work sessions on there, because I have a sneaking suspicion that next year's budget is not going to be easy either. And so just having some opportunities along the way to have us all come together and to talk about the budget and things like that periodically would be good as well.
I appreciate that. I will say in my defense though, not everybody wants work sessions. So we had a couple of work sessions that nobody talked in, and so it is a balance. Look, it's a balance between those. So we will continue to work through it. All right. I think we continue to work on it under small fantasy. All right. Where are we? Are we okay moving on to informational?
Information is coming up on Tuesday. Hope to see you all there. It's a wonderful event celebrating our students in our community. And graduation, as I mentioned, is coming up next Friday, the 29th at 5:30. I'm not even going to mention it. No, we don't need it. Yep. Thank you.
Yeah, we're over our ticket. The local lines will be over their ticket permit, so we need it outside. All right. Oh, okay, moving on to public comments. Does anybody have a public comment? Okay, Joanna, Nacogdoches Township.
Yes, thank you. Couple things. First, I want to thank Bridget, Rich, Scott. They all came to the PCF 5K. Amber and Scott's school, Springfield, won for the most attendance. So they did a really great job. They all finished, got over the line, puffing, but they got there. So I appreciate the support that we get. Appreciate that Michael, he supported us, put the word out about our race and everything, even though he was working on the 250. So I just want to reiterate, our administrators, our staff, everyone here works over and above what they do for their job title. So that to me is important, because I haven't heard anything about the contract for the Act 93, which is upsetting me. Look around, guys. Look at the communities around us, how many administrators they've gone through. Every year they're changing or something happens. I want to keep ours. I like ours. They do a great job. So that's that. Also, the other thing I haven't heard anything about is the auditorium at the middle school. You saw how many kids were here for music? It's important. These are excellent kids. They're kids that score high on tests. They're kids that are involved in a lot of activities. So I think you really need to think about spending that money, because if you put it all, it's going to cost more next year. As far as the survey, I've seen so many surveys come through over my years here, and I never remember anything changing because of a survey. I think it's a waste of money, a waste of time. People are only going to write down bad stuff. Most of them, they don't have anything nice to say. If they're angry about something, that's where they're going to hide behind is a survey. So you want to know public meeting. How many people come to a public meeting? How many people listen to your meetings online? If they really cared about what was going on, they would show an interest. So I don't want to spend $10,000 doing those survey. You're doing a survey about how we use our buildings and all that. That's costing us a few $1,000s. So I don't think we need to have that. My other question is, if we do consolidate, years ago, I remember hearing that if we had a building open up, charter schools would have first option. I don't know if that's still true. That worries me, because that's going to pull more kids out of our schools if we open up another building. So I'd like to know if that's true. Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Anybody else? Seeing none. I need a movement. I need a motion to adjourn.
I'll make the motion.
Oh, yeah. Okay. Try to talk about what are your comments? I skip those. We talk so much that I'm sick of us already.
I just want to say thank you, for all the students that came out to the presentation, Mr. Hepburn, and anyone up there, those Tech students that are just such a small community that we are, and we can still go out there and bring back the gold, to our district. It's just amazing to see. I'm always happy to see that when we do that. And, one more year. Down, and we'll see you all next Friday after next. Nice sunny afternoon at 5:30. And Mr. Davis, thank you for sharing with us, the retiring, Roseanne, thank you, good Lord, I'm sorry. Good night.
Just real quickly, yeah, congratulations. It's great to see the students that came here and the teachers that were recognized. And, thank you to the parents that support all that and make it possible, and our administrators. And I also want to give a big shout out to, PCF and the volunteers that, work so hard to run these events. They, also help them, quite a bit in appreciating with the dedication of the fitness center that we have next Friday, and that's a very heavy lift that they came on, and we appreciate that very much.
The dedication of the US Center was wonderful. Speakers were wonderful. I had my 2-year-old grandson with me, so I could hear part of the speeches because he was obsessed with being in the bathroom and flushing the toilet. But the speeches were just wonderful. And then we went to dinner afterwards to Silver Creek in Helletown, and as we're walking out, we're seeing all these wonderful, beautifully dressed students walking up. And of course, because my brain doesn't always work, I'm like, oh, this must be Suffolk Valley. And so we're talking to all the kids and saying how wonderful they look and everything. And it was our Palisades kids, and they just look wonderful.
Ditto to what everybody said about the accomplishments of the students. It just, I've said this before, it just never ceases to amaze me. Saul District, but our staff could not do it without the support of the administration and without the support of everybody else sitting here with me. So I always find that very amazing. I do have to say, though, that this evening, even though I had to abstain from the vote, I just feel very sad and disappointed, because I feel we're missing an opportunity for students. Yeah. I don't think I have anything either. Can you believe that? No words.
Good.
All right, well, just a couple of things. We have 4 gentlemen and a number of different students, but going to stage for track and field, I think it's tomorrow. But I think we broke the district record for the 4x1. So lots of excitement there. I think they're getting a big send off tomorrow. So good luck to our track teams as they head up there. Did want to say thank you for the Upper Bucks 250 celebrations. We were in post prom between the 5K. Well, we missed everything because having a senior is a bit of an adventure, I'm afraid. But thank you, especially the board members that could show up to these things in my stead, because I had a lot of kids at the house. So I'm pretty tired, but wonderful celebrations this week and this year. And we'll have an opportunity next week to talk about the accomplishments of our senior class. The only final thing I did want to mention, anybody in Tinicum Township, they are doing a survey. The township's doing a survey on research, including a tiny little four-block park. It's in my neck of the woods, but in Tinicum Park as well, just to talk through different options about that use. So if residents want to look and take a look at that, that would be much appreciated. Otherwise, we have 2 board meetings again in June, so you'll be seeing a lot of us as we close up shop and try to get some business, including the Act 93 contract, which hopefully will be up in June, first meeting in June. So with that, I will be back in the library
Are we gonna be back in the library?
We are, we just couldn't,
I get
between the heat and the how many people,
I just really like.
that was a hot flash week and a half for us. It was not gonna, so I think we need a motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn.
Second. All right, all in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Any abstentions? Motion carries 1-0. Thank you and good night.